caution, it always has been. We have had not coronavirus, but winter respiratory diseases in this country on several previous occasions. There was particularly the great Asian flu of the 1950s. There was the Hong Kong flu of 1968-69. These are all tragic, but on no occasion did any government previously think that it was an intelligent or useful reaction to close down the economy and close down a large part of the National Health Service in response. And what baffles me about this occasion is why it suddenly is seen as necessary, especially given that I've yet to see any evidence that these shutdowns actually prevent any deaths. Even those who advocate them have never said any more than that they delay and spread them.
Dr. Simon Clark, these lockdowns, there's no evidence that they prevent deaths. What do you say to that?
Well, if you look at the rate of people dying, about a fortnight after you have a lockdown, the numbers of infections and the numbers of deaths begin to tail off, begin to level out. So that's the effect of the lockdowns. And that happens wherever they happen. So it's not just an effect of the date, because they don't all come in, don't all start on the same date around the world. So to argue that there's no evidence that they don't slow things down is not particularly true. But you can say that any medical treatment only just delays death. So I mean, I really don't see why that's a valid point. But I mean, it is fair to say that they don't stop people from dying eventually.
Simon, it is the case, isn't it, that we are going to see an increase in excess deaths. In fact, we already are, one of the highest in Europe again. Is this lockdown going to cause more harm than good?
Well, it will cause harm, certainly. Lockdowns are a disaster. I don't think lockdowns are a good thing to have. I've never thought that, and I certainly don't think it now. They are a consequence of, frankly, society's failure. And they're only really put in place to stop the emergency provisions of the health service being swamped. That's really all they're done for.
But they haven't done that. There's no evidence that they've actually achieved this at all. And the health service was never swamped. There's a very interesting article by Fraser Nelson, editor of The Spectator, on the evidence we now have on the supposed first wave, which makes it clear that there was never any serious overloading of the health service in general. There were one or two places where there was pressure, but the health service always comes under pressure every winter from respiratory disease.
Well, this just makes that worse then, doesn't it?
It's a fact. And the King's Fund, a very well-informed and effective think tank, some years ago, established that the British Health Service had far fewer beds and far fewer emergency beds than most other health services. There's been a deliberate plan to make the health service more bare bones than it was before, because they think they can manage it. The fact is that there wasn't any point at which the alleged overwhelming of the health service even seemed likely, and there isn't one now, as far as I can see, either. And people are so widely scared by some quite sophisticated propaganda into believing this thing is so serious. The presumption is taken as read, and it's not challenged. People should challenge presumption. It's the job of intelligent, informed people to challenge what they're told, not to accept it.
Simon, you're an intelligent, informed person. What do you make of that? The NHS isn't, in fact, overwhelmed.
We will make America great again.